let's see. But now we'll chat with our other crewmates, see if they have anything else to say to us. I mean, for the most part, it seemed like at this stage where we have almost everybody who wants us to do a loyalty mission for them, that is very much at the top of their minds, and they don't really care about idle chit-chat. And I believe Jack was on that list.
I need to get to Pragia, Shepard.
Yeah.
Soon.
I'll think about that.
Maybe.
I have to go.
Yep.
Yep. Maybe. Maybe later. So, let's see. Of everyone that we have chatted with thus far, everyone on the team right now, is there anyone who does not have a loyalty mission that they want us to do, who might actually have other new things to say to us? Zaid could, but he is on the other side, or is he on the other floor? Sometimes. Don't remember. Just remember the people who are on the side versus the people who are on the middle. But, you know, the left and right side, I don't remember very clearly which person is on which of those sides, and whether they're on the second floor or the third floor on the side.
Shepard, I was just waxing goddamn nostalgic.
Hmm?
Me and a buddy were hired to take out this one guy, Matthias, I think. Hell, I forget. Turns out it was a trap. We got jumped by a hit squad. 2 Batarians, a Krogan, and a Hanar.
A Hanar?
Damn jellyfish nearly choked me to death.
Oh, wow.
Wore a neck brace for weeks to cover that up. Haven't underestimated a Hanar since.
Alright, I suppose maybe we should take that as a warning. Don't make the same mistake that Zaid did. Alright, anything else?
Ever been to a Batarian prison?
Can't say I have.
They don't trust you enough to sell you into slavery. That's where they send you. In there you got 2 choices. Bash your head open on the wall, or kill everyone between you and the exit.
Something tells me you did the latter.
I should let you go. Talk more later, Shepard.
Okay, so obviously we've completed Zaid's loyalty mission already. So that is why he still has stuff to say to us. Other than that, we have random crew members in here, potentially. Not here, but... oh no, I'm thinking of floor 2. So in that case, let us head up. Okay, let us see. So, I think this is Samara over here, and this was, of course, the person that Kelly was saying we should talk to. She has something new to speak to us about. Here she is.
I am glad you came.
That's a little creepy, but sure.
I must ask for your help. That is not easy for me.
Alright, sure. Take your time. What's the matter?
It's all right. Just tell me what you need.
When we met on Ilium, I told you about a very dangerous person I was pursuing. Using the information you obtained, I have located her. She's been going by the name Morinth. I would like to apprehend her before she disappears again.
Okay. Let's get a little more information here. At least at the time, when we first recruited you, or were trying to recruit you, you were saying how that was your mission. It was something that you had to complete before you were able to join us. And all we did was get you information. We didn't actually get you to that person and allow you to arrest them or kill them or whatever it is you're trying to do. So I imagine this is still pretty urgent in that
Didn't
case.
you say you'd pick up her trail after our mission?
I know where she is, right now. In a month, she may be gone. This is the best opportunity I've ever had.
Oh. Okay. Understood. And it does seem like this is awfully important.
How important is this?
Killing her has been my focus for 400 years.
Oh.
It is the most important thing in my life, and the reason I became a Justicar.
Oh. So, you know, no big deal or anything. It's just her life purpose. Yeah, so where is this person then?
Where is she?
Omega, a nightclub called Afterlife.
Oh, we've been there many times before.
Seems a perfect place for her to hunt.
Oh. Hunt? Yeah, who is she?
Tell me about her.
She is an Ardat Yakshi. It is a term from a dead Asari dialect. It means demon of the night winds, but that is mythology. She is simply a very dangerous woman who kills without mercy.
Okay, I mean, technically speaking, we've perhaps encountered several of those in the past. So, why all the special names?
So is an Ardat Yakshi a special kind of murderer?
Morinth suffers a rare genetic disorder. When she mates with you, there is no gentle melding of nervous systems. She overpowers yours, burns it out, hemorrhages your brain. You end up a mindless shell, and soon after, you are dead.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. How common is this?
Why isn't this ever mentioned in Asari literature or art?
When we were primitive, there was much fascination with Ardat Yakshi. Some cultures worshipped them as gods of destruction. Now the Asari have a place in the galaxy, and they don't wish this defect to be widely known. As far as I know, only
understandable, I
3
suppose.
exist today. 2 chose a life of seclusion. The 3rd ran.
Morinth.
She ran, and I am sworn to kill her.
Okay. I mean, is it wrong for this Morinth to want to run and be free? I mean, I understand it that she is currently a murderer. And that part does, perhaps mean that perhaps she should not be doing that, but...
I don't know that I blame her for running.
When she fled, she proved her addiction. She was not taking a great moral stand. She simply wants to keep killing. She is a tragic figure, but not a sympathetic one.
Okay. So... There's some kind of... Seems like there's some kind of compulsion, some kind of addiction you're saying that she has to it?
Can't she abstain?
Each encounter gives her strength. The effect is narcotic. The more she does it, the more she needs to do it.
Oh.
She will never stop. She can't.
Oh. That is very unfortunate. So I mean, it's all because of some genetic disorder, did you say?
So you hunt down these Asari just because they're born with a genetic condition?
It manifests with maturity. When one is diagnosed, she is offered the chance to live in seclusion and comfort. If she refuses, it shows her addiction to the ecstasy she gets from killing her mates. There is no redemption for such a person.
It is pretty extreme. Pretty extreme.
They have to choose between prison and death?
It is an addictive condition. Remember how adaptive we are. If Morinth does not want to be cured, she won't be.
Okay. I mean, see why she's dangerous.
This is definitely worthy of your full attention.
She confuses her victims, twists their feelings. They will do anything for her favor.
Oh. Okay, so she's a manipulator as well. Fantastic. I mean, let's go get her.
We need to stop her.
Thank you, Commander. There are no words to express what this means to me.
Yeah, I can tell, based
There's
on your
one thing
facial
more.
expression.
This creature, this monster. She is my daughter.
Oh! That complicates things. Yeah, so, remember when you mentioned the whole thing about how there are 3 known Ardat Yakshi in the galaxy? 2 of them are apparently in shelter and are safe, whereas 1 is not? Those other 2 also your children?
You said this is genetic. How many children do you have?
3. And 3 Ardat Yakshi are in existence today. It is as it sounds. Morinth was always the wild one. She was happy and free, but selfish.
Ooh, yup. Now we understand why it's personal. I am so sorry.
I cannot imagine what this is like for you.
I do not want pity, Shepard. I do not accept it. My daughter's condition is my fault, and my redemption lies in killing her. Do not pity me. Simply understand my situation.
I mean, that is a really, really tough spot to be in. Okay.
How did all this happen?
I spent my youth on the move, adventuring. I killed people, mated with them, or just danced the night away. I learned so much, experienced so much, and then my matron days came. I could finally sit back, bask, and enjoy my family. But in one moment, it was all taken away.
That moment when they got diagnosed?
It sounds terrible.
I sat in a med lab while a nearsighted doctor droned at me, and I learned that nothing was as I thought it would be. I gave up all that I possessed. I own nothing, claim nothing. All my knowledge will die with me. Now my purpose is to destroy my own children.
That is such a twisted, I mean, need, desire, wants, hope. I mean, at the same time, it's understandable. You can absolutely see where she's coming from, where she feels responsible, because these are her children. She brought them into the world. But at the same time, they have the potential to wreak absolute destruction, and two of them apparently are not doing that, but Morinth apparently very much is.
Those moments change you.
And I've hundreds of years left to live with that. I say too much. Forgive me. Help me find my long-lost daughter. And kill her.
I mean, that is tough. But okay. We'll get her.
We'll go find Morinth.
Okay. So, it is at Omega where this mission will take place. Learn more about the Ardat Yakshi, get some Paragon points as well. And so, we get the mission for it, and as you probably piece together here, that was... Oh, did I accidentally sort it by name? What just happened? I did... There we go. It is Samara's loyalty mission, the Ardat Yakshi. So Samara's daughter, Morinth, suffers a rare genetic defect that allows her to destroy her partner's minds. Samara has a good lead on Morinth's whereabouts and wants to end her daughter's career as a serial killer. So we've already talked to Samara, but we would do this in Omega. And I believe she said the Afterlife Lounge, or the Afterlife Bar, which is, of course, a place we've been to many times before. In fact, we do have one other side mission, very minor one, that we still need to turn in there, which is one that we collected some data, I believe it was during Garrus's recruitment mission, and we just never got the chance to talk to Arya to turn that stuff in. Let's see. Before we head back up, let's see if there's anyone else we ought to chat with. Oh, these two are quite talkative.
Access to life
Still
support is restricted.
empty there. It should be Kasumi.
There you are.
Oh, hello. How are you?
I have to say, that Jacob? He seems pretty intense. I wonder if he likes Japanese girls with a penchant for kleptomania.
Namely, you?
Joker and Edie are like an old married couple. I keep expecting to walk in on them bickering about the temperature in the cockpit. Edie has a wicked sense of humor. Or I should say, a really funny lack of one. Sometimes she seems like a person. But when it comes down to it, I can't get past her being a computer.
That is, I mean, that's the thing about AI, right? You never really know. They're like, at times they're almost like a human, but then you remember that they aren't.
Come back later. I'm sure I'll have more to talk about.
Another thing to mention about the loyalty mission that we just got from chatting with Samara there. So, obviously loyalty missions are relevant for several different reasons. One of them is that we can, well, it's an additional mission, but it makes the squad member loyal. That's the primary reason. But it also unlocks their bonus ability and makes that ability accessible to Shepard. So, for that reason, there's potentially reason to deliberately rush specific loyalty missions that you think are particularly helpful when it comes to the bonus ability that they unlock. That is another reason, among many, as to why doing Kasumi's mission early was particularly notable. We had interest in using the flashbang grenade as our bonus power. So, with that in mind, there's one interesting aspect to the loyalty missions that I don't think we've discussed yet, and I imagine Miranda is going to, again, much like other people, tell us, hey Shepard, I just want you to do the loyalty mission, and that's really all I want to talk about right now.
If we have time, I'd like to go to Ilium and relocate my sister's family.
And, well, we already know about this.
Of course, Commander.
But, I don't think we've mentioned this before. The way in which loyalty missions get unlocked. So you may have noticed, yeah, if we do, hold on, sort by oldest, sort by newest, there we go. So, you may have noticed, so we first, as soon as we recruited Kasumi and we recruited Zaid, we immediately got their recruitment, or their loyalty missions available to us. They're sort of the outside case. They're the exceptions to the rule because they were originally DLC characters, so it was kind of a, okay, well, you know, you're already sort of not exactly following all the typical rules with them anyway, so might as well just make those loyalty missions available immediately. So, ignore them for the moment. But, outside of those two, loyalty missions only became available to us after we finished doing Horizon. Once we finished Horizon, the first loyalty mission we got was Jacob's. Then, after that, we got Miranda's. Then after that, I mean, we have dossiers for recruiting people, but we got Jack's, we got Morden's, we got Garrus, and then we got Samara's. So, when it comes to getting loyalty missions, they will always come one at a time after a mission. So, or in some rare exceptions, might get two after completing a mission, Lair of the Shadowbroker being one of them. But, generally, you will only get one new loyalty mission available to you after completing a mission, and they will always become available in a specific order. Jacob is always first. Miranda is always second. And the thing is, as we unlock or recruit new characters, of course, then we can eventually get their loyalty missions, but obviously, if we, say, hadn't recruited Samara yet, then we wouldn't get Samara's loyalty mission, of course. And so, with that in mind, you can specifically do certain things to make sure that recruitment missions that say, or loyalty missions that say would not become available until much later on, you get those earlier. For example, as we're seeing here, obviously we recruited Samara relatively late, but she is one of the last ones on the list. Even if we had recruited her immediately, it would not be until we finished getting Jacob's loyalty missions, Miranda's loyalty mission, Jack's loyalty mission, Morden's, Garrus's, and then, finally, we would get Samara's. So it takes a long time to get Samara's loyalty mission. However, if you deliberately do not recruit some people, obviously we only just recruited Tally, we've not yet recruited the assassin, and we have not yet looked at or, activated the Krogan in the tank. That means that you will skip those characters in the order in which you would usually get the loyalty missions, and you'll just go to the next person in line. So, say if we, for some reason, had not recruited, let's say, Jack, then we would have gone Jacob, gotten him first, then Miranda, we would skip Jack, and instead of getting her loyalty mission, next one we would get would be Morden's, then Garrus, then Samara, and then once we recruit Jack, she would be the next one on the list because we'd sort of, make up for the fact that we had passed her when she was unavailable. So that is a way in which if you have a specific loyalty mission power, bonus power, that you really want, you can deliberately not recruit other people, and that way you will more quickly get the loyalty power that you want. I mean, in some cases, if we're talking about Jacob or Miranda, who are the first two, then that's not really a problem, because you're going to get those quickly anyway. But if we're talking about characters that are at or near the end of the list, Garrus, Samara, then that may be something that you need to do in order to make those available to you earlier on. So, maybe, finally, you can at least in parts understand one of the reasons why, for all this time, we did, of course, complete the recruitment mission to get the Warlord's genetically engineered Krogan soldier, but have not actually done anything with the tank, in which said Krogan soldier currently is being contained. So, I mean, this functionally works just like not having recruited anybody. Only once we actually see if we can activate, release the Krogan in this tank, would said Krogan show up on this list. So, that is one of the reasons why we have not yet activated that Krogan, because we would not have gotten Samara's mission as early as we did if that had not been the case.
Any chance we could get to the Citadel, Shepard? I'd like to follow that lead on Sedonis.
Garrus being another one
Garrus.
who wants to do his
be
loyalty
here
mission, but again, it's later on the list, and so depending on the order in which you recruit people, that may dictate how quickly you get his loyalty mission to show up. But I believe that's everyone of note down here. Let's head back up.
No messages for you, Commander.
Alright, thank you, Kelly. And speaking of those loyalty missions and the ones that we just acquired, I'm thinking we may rush Samara's loyalty mission here. I mean, if you can call this a rush, but as soon as we get it, we're going to use it, because this is a mission that, or a bonus power that we would get that could potentially be good enough to replace Flashbang Grenade. As we were saying a little while ago, Flashbang Grenade is good, very good at level 1, because it can disorient and, incapacitate some people's special powers, like Harbinger in particular. Really effective against him. For, I think it's like a 30-second disablement of all of his biotic abilities, more or less completely shutting him down. So it's really good for that. But outside of those purposes, when we're not going against enemies that have special abilities, if we're just going against enemies with big guns that do a lot of damage, not really as effective. Because Flashbang Grenade does not do much in the way of direct damage. It's mostly the debuff. Does technically incapacitate weapons for a much shorter duration. I believe that is the incapacitate duration that you see here, the 3 seconds, whereas the disabling more complex active abilities like biotics from Harbinger is far, far longer than that. But 3 seconds is not a huge deal. So that's why Flashbang Grenade and, the duration gets a little bit longer as it levels up, the damage gets a little bit higher, the radius actually gets quite big, but it's just not an ability that we are terribly keen on leveling up all that much. However, as we saw when we were looking at the team status screen here, Samara's bonus ability is the last one on the list there, Reeve, and that's a new ability for Mass Effect 2, so we didn't see it at all in Mass Effect 1, but trust me when I say that it is a very strong ability that we could very well want to acquire. Actually, yeah, is there a way to get it in Mass Effect 1? Actually, I take that back. I think there is a way to get it in Mass Effect 1. I think it is an adept-only skill, or a skill from one of the subclasses that becomes available to the adepts. I'm mixing that up with Mass Effect 2. Oh man, somewhere in the deep recesses of my brain, I have the vaguest of memories of using Reeve, and for some reason, I feel like it was in Mass Effect 1, but it was so long ago that that little shred of a picture in my brain is potentially dangerously inaccurate, so I don't know. I could be making that up. It could only be available starting in Mass Effect 2, I don't recall. But we've, have we chatted with Morden? I don't think we have, but then again, he's another team member who has a loads of mission that we've not yet done, so that's probably all he's going to want to talk to us about.
Still need to get to Tuchanka, Shepard. My student's being held by Bloodpack.
Alright.
I'll talk to you later, Morden.
We'll be
Yes,
here if you need me.
I know all you guys have been talking about having us do your loyalty missions for you for a long time, and I get that. I get those things are important to you, but, no, instead we're going to do the one that, we just learned about. So, sorry about that. I mean, in some ways it's because of the additional power we can get from it. The Reeve would be, I think, a power we would strongly consider replacing Flashbang Grenade with, and then a power that we would consider upgrading quite a bit, potentially even all the way. So, that's one of the reasons. The other reason is because it's on Omega, and we also have other stuff we want to do on Omega, so it kind of works out well in that sense. So, let's see. We just finished on Haestrom. So, let's... Oh, the mass relay's here. We don't need to travel. Hold on. We can just go straight here. And that's everything on the far rim. And we do have Omega, where we're looking to help Samara. I do not remember hearing about this saving the crash. Oh, I think we talked about this before. Is this technically a sneaky description for Arrival? It might be. But, we also may want to just stop off briefly at Ilium, at the Citadel, to see if we might want to purchase anything there, because I think we got a ton of credits from that previous mission, and it may be a little while since we last looked to purchase things, so, you know, I think in general, we'd like to make a point of picking up the good stuff whenever we can, and I think there are still some good upgrades left to be had. Alright, so let's check out the Citadel here, and we're just gonna go on a little bit of a shopping spree, as we often do whenever we load back up on our credits. Alright, so there actually could be a reason for us to take some specific people here for plot significant reasons. So those people being Miranda and Jacob, there is certainly going to be reasons to take Samara later on. Oh, actually, what am I saying? We're on the Citadel here, not on Omega yet. So actually, it doesn't really matter who we take here, I don't think. So why don't we take Samara in that case? Because, of course, she's a new addition, as is Tally. So let's go with the two of them. So we have a ton of points now, because we were at 4 before the previous mission. We decided, maybe we'll wait a little bit before we choose squad and secondary ammo, just in case. We want to instead prioritize pull or prioritize a different bonus power instead. And this way, you know, if we do Samara's loyalty mission next, unlock Reeve, we can pretty much immediately upgrade it almost entirely, very close to it. Then here is Samara, so this is of course our first time using her. So let's take a closer look at her abilities. Throw, I believe she's the first character we've seen with this ability. It is, of course, an ability from Mass Effect 1. So it hurls enemies through the air using a powerful biotic field. So it has, let's see, using Mass Effect fields, hurls targets away and damages them if they hit objects. So it doesn't deal direct damage per se. It deals damage based on if the target smashes into something that you throw them into. So it does require some little bit situational use, some smart applications. There are some ways to set it up, though. Oh, And so we can make it happen more reliably. And as you level it up, the force goes up. So we have throw, then once we reach throw rank 2, we unlock pull, which of course we have ourselves, and we've seen many times before on many other characters. Generally just a good setup skill, crowd control, lifting people into the air and disabling them for the duration. So speaking of abilities that can set up throw, well, guess what? Pull is one of them. So basically what we're looking to do here is this is a bit of a combo. You know, you pull people up into the air, that way they're sort of in this anti-grav state, and then you throw them after that, and then you can think of it almost as like a way of multiplying the force coming from that throw. So, you know, they're gonna fly higher and farther into the air and perhaps be more likely to smash into something. Or oftentimes the strategy will actually be not so much to smash them into things as much as it'll be to try to throw them off the map, which will usually mean they just automatically die. So only works in some places, but that is definitely something we could be interested in trying to do. So what I think is, with the throw, we don't care too much about that force. It's mostly that ability to actually throw people off the map that we care about. So I'm thinking we just put this up to 2 to unlock pull. And then, oh, also she has Asari Justicar, which is her passives, which gives her health, weapon damage, and power recharge time, which, as an adept with 2 biotic abilities, 3 eventually, once we get Reeve, it'll be very helpful to have faster recharge. Let's take a quick look at Reeve, because this is the ability that once we do her loyalty mission, we will unlock, and as I was saying, it's something that I was thinking could be quite intriguing for us to have as our bonus ability for Shepard. So, biotically attacks the target's nervous system or synthetic system and disables any health regeneration. Okay, disables health regeneration, so particularly good against Krogan and Borcha in that case. When used against organics, this field regenerates the biotic's health and provides a temporary health bonus. Regenerates our health, provides maximum health temporary bonus. Okay, you have my interest. So very good defensively. Reeve also does double damage to armor and barriers. What is the one defensive type that we keep on saying we struggle to find anyone to specialize against? All we can do for barriers right now is go with Miranda with Warp. And that's one of the key reasons why we keep on using her, is because we're relying on her to be our barriers person. So that's one of the reasons why, at least once we do this, Samara can be another barriers person to make it so we aren't leaning so heavily on Miranda all the time. And if we get this ability for ourselves, then suddenly Shepard can do that, and we don't need to have a barriers specialist if we're running into a barriers heavy set of enemies. Maybe we're fine just having Shepard use Reeve a lot, and we can have our teammates provide other types of support. So, for all those reasons, Reeve, very, very interesting power. It has a long recharge time, but it has a, 3-second duration that increases as it levels up, from 3 to 3.5 to 4. The damage per second stays the same. And that may seem like, oh, I don't know, Lids, upgrading that further, and it feels like that's not that much better. However, the way the skill functions is pretty unusual, because when it comes to using this ability against enemies with any layer of protection, like armor, like barriers, 2 things that it's particularly good against, that damage will actually be instantaneous. So, what it does is, if we, say, hit an armored enemy with a level 1 Reeve, I believe the way the numbers work is basically you are just multiplying the total damage you would deal over the 3-second duration, so 40 points of damage over 3 seconds, 120 damage, and instead of that being spread out over 3 seconds, it just does 120 damage right off the bat. That's a pretty big amount, especially for level 1. And then, okay, sure, the number doesn't get that much higher as you level it up, but, I mean, that's generally the case with other abilities as well. So, I mean, by level 3, we're talking 160 damage. That's just about, I mean, it's not as high as Shadow Strike, which is humongous, but other than that, that's pretty far up there. And then level 4, of course, we can go with a higher strength version, or we can go with an AoE version. So those are all things that look very, very intriguing about Reeve, because in many ways, it covers for one of the key weaknesses that we've had in the past. So that's why the skill intrigues me so much, and why I think it may be worth replacing Flashbang Grenade with Reeve, now that this can become available to us once we finish tomorrow's mission. So, anyways, as we were saying, we'll go throw, at least to unlock pull, to at least get it up to 1 point here, and then just want to see if maybe we can make it so that as soon as Reeve is available, Samara has enough points to fully upgrade it. So let's just go Sorry Justicar up to 3, and that means she does have a lot of recharge to use this Reeve and throw and pull more often. So that sounds good. Does mean at least for now she's going to have a ton of unspent points, but, you know, walking around Citadel, she'll be fine. As for Tali, for her, we were saying this a little bit earlier, it's pretty unique for her, what she has. Combat drone, let's look at this. So, command your very own battle drone. Oh man, I always wanted to do that! So, this is actually an ability that Shepard can use if you are an engineer. But if you are not, then this is the only way to... Actually, at least at the moment, it's the only way to do it. Spawns a tech drone to draw enemy fire. The drone can electrically stun targets briefly and damage their shields. Only one drone can be active at a time. That may sound uninspiring. So it's just a little drone, lasts for 30 seconds, or well, lasts for 18 seconds, 30-second recharge, extremely long, and it only attacks every 4 seconds? Vids, why? There are a lot of interesting ways in which you can, and creative ways you can use the combat drone to distract some of the biggest enemies, like, say, primes, and it means, you know, if they're shooting at the drone is stunning them, you can, meanwhile, be absolutely unloading on them and dealing a whole bunch of damage. So it's not so much that it's going to deal direct damage as much as it's a decoy, functionally, and a pretty darn good decoy at that. So it is kind of intriguing for us to invest heavily in that. Then we have AI hacking, which we saw from Mass Effect 1, which turns synthetic enemies into temporarily into allies. So temporarily hacks a synthetic enemy to attack its former allies. The duration is 5 seconds, so it's not that long, but at least it's a little bit of time in which suddenly we have enemies attacking each other. Both the enemy that we convert will attack the other enemies, and the other enemies will attack the enemy that we convert. So it's a way of creating a lot of infighting, and at least at early levels, I think in many ways it's just a way to distract our opponents, which is kind of a theme here with Tali. But as we level it up, you'll see allies also generates a temporary shield around hacked targets so it can fight more effectively against its allies. So at rank 2, we're talking 200 extra shields, rank 3, 350, and rank 4, again, we get the option to go area or more concentrated. And so basically at low levels, like I said, it's more or less a temporary distraction, but it's not going to last all that long because whoever we convert is probably going to get immediately annihilated by all the enemies that are going to turn on them. However, if you do level it up a lot, then suddenly you're making the enemy you're converting very tanky, and they can stand there for a little while and take a few hits, and suddenly they might actually be able to take out some of their other people, and so it's sort of a different dynamic. It depends what use you see yourself trying to have for it. So that's interesting. Then we have the Machinist, which is her passive, health, weapon damage, power, duration, not damage, which is, I mean, that's fitting for what her abilities are. Again, they're not really so much focusing on the direct damage as much as it's strange debuffs and I guess you'd say crowd control. And then Energy Drain is her loyalty mission ability. This, initially, was the ability that I was thinking we would use as our endgame bonus power, because drains enemies' kinetic barrier power to boost your shields. So it's a way of boosting our maximum shields. Within a small area of effect, you can divert power from an opponent's shields or from synthetic enemies to restore users' shields. So it gets back your shields, and removes your opponent's shields. And 120 points of damage is a lot. It only works against either any synthetic enemy or shielded human or other organic enemies. Organic enemies that do not have shields doesn't do anything. So that's the risk, and that's why Tali is a bit of a synthetics specialist. But as we level it up here, I believe it might only be starting at a heavy drain, where we can, I believe, you can actually increase the maximum number of shields that you get temporarily. So effectively increasing your maximum effective life. So that's also fantastic, especially if you combine that with something like Biotic Charge. There is a synergy there where you get higher maximum shields temporarily, and then you can get those shields back up, and I think for the duration, or for some duration at least, you can still get back up to that increased ceiling for your shields. I believe that is the case, unless I'm mixing that up with a different ability. But that was one of the reasons why I was thinking that Energy Drain could be very good skill for us. The reason why I subsequently was starting to have some doubts, and that's why I was saying earlier, like, maybe we don't want to throw a bunch of points into squad ammo. Maybe we want to instead save points for a different leader ability soon, because Energy Drain is most effective against shields. I think it has 200% damage multiplier against shields. I think it does base damage against barriers, but don't quote me on that. And then, as I was saying, against humans without any or without any shields at all, or with just armor or just health, I think it does quite literally 0 damage. So that's the downside. So the thing is, as we've said in the past, shields we actually do okay with, because we have a lot of shield damage on our shotgun. So assuming we have ammo, we're usually pretty fine on that. But when it comes to barriers, we have very few answers. So having Reeve specialize in dealing damage to barriers is very intriguing for that reason, and that is probably the primary reason why we would take Reeve over Energy Drain, especially because it also has a way of boosting our maximum HP and giving us HP regeneration, so it's really good defensively as well. So actually some similarities between Reeve and Energy Drain, and those are the two abilities that are probably competing to be our long-term bonus power if/when we decide to convert from our current Flashbang Grenade. But anyways, that's a long aside. As for what we actually want to do with Tali, I mean, there are definitely many ways you can build her. We do need to have at least 2 points in combat drone to unlock AI hacking. So let's do that. I mean, I'm a little reluctant to invest that heavily in AI hacking because, as we were saying, I mean, as with her Energy Drain skill, there are only certain situations in which it is effective. But you might want to save some points for it. Well, no, I think it's going to be a while until we do Energy Drain. We were talking about the order of loyalty missions, and, well, of course, us having only just recruited Tali means we don't yet have our loyalty mission, so it might be a little while until we actually get the chance to get that. We want to go further on Machinist in that case? I'm actually not entirely sure. Not entirely sure between Machinist and Ration on the drone. Oh, the other thing is with hacking, you can make a pretty decent case for not investing that much in it. You know what? I take it back. Yes, we'll put a couple points in combat drone just to get some AI hacking, but hacking is one of those things where on low levels, it's usable. The purpose for it is different, generally, because you're not going to be having that enemy survive for all that long, but it could be good enough to at least be a distraction. So then, throw a few points in Machinist. I don't think we're going to, we're not going to have enough points to go to 4 with all these, of course, and I probably do want to go to 4 with Energy Drain, so I want to make sure we leave enough room for that. So let's just maybe might even keep it at this for now. And we're on the Citadel, so no worries here. No weapons needed.